Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca. Let's talk about makeup. So today I have the biggest empties video that I have ever filmed, ever. The last time I did my empties was back in March, so it was for my March empties. So it's April, May, June, July, 4 months of empties are sitting here in front of me. Some of them are pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited about some of these empties, so let's get into it. Okay, I have a couple of hair care products. I have a few hair care products here. I think I have updated most of my projects at this point with these empties, so I don't think there's going to be any spoilers for anything. There are going to be some familiar things because I've been saving this up for a while. So first here is my Joico Joyful Volumizing Conditioner. I also have the matching shampoo to this that I also finished a couple of months ago. I went ahead and tossed that bottle. These bottles are huge. I didn't want to keep both of them, but I did finish the whole set. And I really enjoyed this. I am working through another shampoo right now. Regardless of how good a shampoo is, I feel like my hair does its best when I'm regularly rotating through a few different ones. So this will definitely be going into the rotation for the future, but I have not yet repurchased it. I also finished a bottle of this. This is the dry shampoo Heavenly Volume version of the Batiste dry shampoo. I love the Batiste dry shampoo. I find it more effective than any other dry shampoo that I've ever tried, and I've tried some pretty expensive ones. These ones, I like to pick these up at Ross. Usually I can get them for between $9 and $12 for one of the 12-ounce cans, which is a much better deal than the ones that I find at TJ Maxx. At TJ Maxx, you can get the 8-ounce cans for about $12. This is a way better deal. So if you have a Ross, if you have access to a Ross and you want to pick up some dry shampoo, peek in there and see if you can find a can or two. This is the Heavenly Volume version, which I find to be, I don't know, maybe a little bit more volumizing than the original one, but I find the original one to be pretty volumizing. I do think this one is a little bit more dry in my hair, if you know what I mean. Like, if you overdo it with the dry shampoo, your hair and your scalp can end up feeling a little bit dry, and I think that's easier to achieve with this version than it is with the normal dry shampoo. So anyway, will I pick this version up again if it's on sale? I don't really see enough of a difference between this one and the other one that I care. So if this one is on sale, I will grab it. I also finished a little mini size of the, what is this? Herbal Essences Rose Hips Shampoo. It was fine. It was fine. It did the job. I took this with me when I traveled up to my sister's house when I had my baby, and it did the job. So here we are. I also have a couple of fragrance empties here, which is unusual for me. Here's the Pacifica Tahitian Garden Perfumed Hair and Body Mist. This was in my Throwback 30, and I finally finished the bottle. Really nice scent, but I prefer it around me more than I do on me. So I actually used the majority of this bottle as a room and linen spray. Smelled lovely. Was nice. I don't think I will repurchase though. And then there's this one. This one is a little sad for me. This is the Kayali Eden Juicy Apple Perfume. I love this fragrance so much. It's sweet and crisp and juicy and fresh. I love this scent. The problem with Kayali scents though is this bottle here back in November cost me $100. I am now completely through it, and it doesn't last on me. It does not last. And I feel like the projection is not amazing either. The amount of perfume that I would have to put on in order to make any kind of impact for anybody to notice that I was wearing this scent. That's the reason why I went through a full size of it in what? 6 months? And I am not an everyday perfume wearer. So that is not my best spent $100. Love the scent, but it doesn't project, it doesn't stay on me. Sadly, will probably not be a repurchase. And we have a pretty decent amount of skincare here from the various projects I was involved in. Most of these I think are from Throwback 30. I have a couple of things in here from 50 Shades of Brown. This was not actually in any of my projects. This is the Embryolisse Cream Concentrate. This is a classic product. A lot of makeup artists use this to prep the skin before makeup. It is not amazing on combo oily skin if you want the most longevity out of your makeup, because it is extremely creamy and hydrating. However, I did really enjoy this as a kind of a night cream, final moisturizer before going to bed. I did use it a little bit during the day. Immediately after I had my baby, I was going through a lot of hormonal, stuff. I still am. The baby's 3 months old, so we're still going through it. But immediately after having my baby, I noticed that my skin was much more dry than it normally is. And so I actually ended up using this during the day as well. And it was really very mild and soothing and extremely hydrating. Really did enjoy this. Will actually probably pick another one of these up. As part of my Throwback 30, I finished my Puking Yule Essence Toner. This was a toner I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get through. You can actually see this was the start of the project here. I think that was back in April. And then I think this was January. January is when I made that mark here. So that's not a lot of progress for that 6 months, but I finally got into a decent rhythm with my skincare and learned to incorporate a toner into my daily skincare routine. And that's when I started going through it much more quickly. But I really did enjoy this. I don't know that it is any more remarkable than any other essence toner that I have used, but it was a good one. It was non-irritating. It added just a little bit of hydration. It was really nice, like immediately after a shower, to prevent water loss. It was nice and I did enjoy it. I don't know if it will be a repurchase though. Here's one from my 50 Shades of Brown. This is my Holika Honey Blueberry Sleeping Pack. At this point, you've heard me talk about this so many times. It's ridiculous. Really, really nice, hydrating nighttime moisturizer. It kind of has a gel consistency. It's a little bit sticky. Like most of the sleeping packs that I've tried, it is a little bit sticky. So if that's something that you hate in your nighttime skincare, you probably want to stay away from this one. The fragrance is lovely. It was very hydrating, better for the wintertime for me than the rest of the year. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I picked this one up, I think, at TJ Maxx. So if I were to see it again, I would consider picking another one of these up because I really did like it. From Throwback 30, this is my Completely Bare Bikini Bump Blaster. These are just those little astringent pads. There's none in here left, but how many did it come with? 50 pads. It came with 50 of them, and you just apply it over any freshly shaven skin. There's witch hazel, green tea. I think there's some glycolic acid in here, and it's really actually very effective at cutting down on post-shave irritation you can sometimes experience in more sensitive areas. It does not sting. I did not experience any stinging with this. I really liked it. The funny thing is this was in my collection for literal years before I bothered to finish it up, and now, yeah, I would absolutely repurchase this if I saw it again in store. I finished a bottle of my Dear My Dew Tranexamic Acid Serum. This is what I like to mix with my ordinary L-ascorbic acid powder to create my own little vitamin C serum. This has tranexamic acid, niacinamide, and bakuchiol. It's very soothing. It's a little bit hydrating. It's supposed to be good for overall tone and texture and hydration. It's a really nice little serum. I really enjoy it. I actually have this delivered to me. Well, I was having it delivered to me monthly from Amazon, and then I kind of dropped off with my skincare routine. And so I actually have another one open right now, and then a third one waiting in a box on my shelf. I have paused that subscription for now because I don't need a fourth bottle in my house. But yeah, we did finish this one up. And this is sort of a skincare product. This is, you can't, everything's rubbed off the label, but this is the One Size Go Off Makeup Dissolving Mist. It's just a mini deluxe size. I had this rolled into my Throwback 30. This is a really effective makeup dissolving mist. It's basically just an oil that you spray on your face. This took me forever to finish up. I think there were at least 60 uses in this can. That's pretty good for a mini size. I actually picked this up at TJ Maxx for $5, and I definitely got my money's worth out of it. I did not use it every night, however. I used this whenever I was wearing lashes or had a lot of glitter on, or anything waterproof, anything that was going to be really kind of a little more tricky to remove. That's when I busted this out, and it was really very effective for that. If I saw this in TJ Maxx again, I would 100% pick up another one, and actually may consider picking up the full size can the next time Sephora is running a sale. Might happen. Okay, the rest of the items in here are makeup items, and I'm actually pretty excited about having finished some of these products. Let's start with the two most exciting products here. First is my Dior Backstage Foundation. I had this in the shade, let's see, 2.5N. This is probably one of my favorite foundations of all time. It is a very Goldilocks foundation for me. It is not too matte, it is not too dewy, it is not too full coverage, it's not too sheer, it's just a really beautiful all-rounder. This is just a workhorse foundation that is fabulous for so many circumstances. It is really long wearing, even on my combo oily skin. You can get a really nice, very, very natural looking thin layer on the skin that gives you decent coverage. And then you can also build this up into something a little bit more full on as well. It's a really elegant formulation. I also love the amount that you get in this bottle. Typically, you'll get an ounce of foundation in your normal foundation bottle, but there's 1.6 fluid ounces in this one. So I love this foundation. I have not immediately repurchased it just because I have so many really nice foundations in my collection right now that I need to work through. So despite the fact that this is probably my favorite foundation of all time, I have not yet repurchased it. However, I think it's safe to say that I absolutely 100% will at some point in the future buy another bottle of this. Really love this foundation. Another foundation that I cannot repurchase, this is my Stila Hide and Chic foundation. This was in the shade Light Medium 3, which is a little bit on the fair side for me. I also had another bottle of it that was in Medium 1, and that one was a little bit better for my skin tone. So this is the second bottle that I have gone through. I had this rolled into my deck of panning when I pulled the Joker back in, I think, February or either February or March. I pulled the Joker and I rolled this in. I didn't want to finish it. So the Joker in the deck of panning is for something you don't want to finish for whatever reason. And I didn't want to finish this because I like it so much and I cannot get another one. Also, it was going to take me ages. It did take me, I want to say 3 or 4 months to finish this one. And I am sad that it is completely gone. It was just a really lightweight, very skin-like foundation. I mean, it felt like you had nothing on your face. Very thin, very lightweight, but still good coverage. And it was something that I really actually enjoyed wearing in the summer. You know, when it's so hot outside that you don't want to wear a full face of makeup, but you want a little bit of something on your face. This was a great one for that. It was not oil controlling at all. So I did get shiny, but somehow, I don't know what magic was in this bottle. Even though I would get shiny, it was a pretty shiny. It wasn't like a sweaty, greasy, nasty shiny. It was a pretty luminous shiny. And I really enjoyed this foundation. I'm sad that it is gone, but I'm really pleased to have finished up another foundation. The other super exciting empty that I have here for you, you will have seen if you saw my Throwback 30 Project Pan finale, and that is my ColourPop Super Shock blush in the shade Drop of a Hat. If you have been following me for any length of time, this is familiar because I worked on this so hard last year trying to finish it up by the end of the year. I didn't quite manage to do that. So I rolled it into my Throwback 30 back in January and it is finished. We are done. I am so pleased with that. ColourPop no longer has the Super Shock blushes on their website. So apparently they have been discontinued, which I think is bonkers because they're one of ColourPop's best products ever. Just fabulous blushes. I didn't love the matte version quite as much, but these glowy ones were just so good and the color range was pretty decent. So as soon as I realized I was getting close to finishing this one, I actually went and hunted down another jar of it on Amazon. So even though it has been discontinued off of ColourPop's website, I was still able to find another one on Amazon. This is it here. So the packaging is different because this was the limited edition packaging that it originally came in, and this was the packaging that it was in while it was in the regular lineup. So neither of them are available anymore. You may still be able to find one of these on some corner of the web, or maybe on Mercari or Poshmark or something like that. But I'm really glad that I went ahead and snapped this up before it vanished forever because it is really just the most beautiful peachy, pinky, golden. I'm going to swatch it for you because why not? Look at that. Now, I did swatch these two side by side before I finished this off. I took a little bit of the product and I swatched it next to the new one. And this one is just a hair more peachy and less pink. But once applied to the cheeks, it's really difficult to tell a difference. So while I would prefer if they were identical, I am still pleased with this one, and we'll probably go through this entire one as well. That will be a sad day when Drop of the Hat is no longer part of my collection. But I actually think this is the first blush I've ever in my lifetime completed, like fully completed, because like bronzers, I have definitely panned blushes in the past, but like bronzers, I would get to the point where there was the product in the pan was so thin that it would start to shatter and crumble. I don't think I knew how to repress powders, and I didn't bother to find out either, so I would just toss the entire thing and buy a new one. So yeah, I think this is the first blush that I have ever finished in my entire life, so that makes it quite special. I'm thinking about keeping the packaging of this one in my makeup memory box. So anyway, This is an empty, already repurchased. I also finished one of my Buxom lip glosses. This is the lip polish in the shade Brandy, my absolute favorite gloss of all time. There's some tiny bit, it has settled a little bit since I put it in the empties bin. Let me see if I scrape one more application out of this. Gosh, I'm wearing some Natasha Denona lipsticks on underneath. This is a lip gloss that I like over other lip products. I love it on its own. I love the minty tingle. It is not too distracting and it's not painful at all, in my opinion. I do prefer these to like their lip, the other ones that are called. They have another. Now they have the lip polish creams. Those are also really, really nice. Really enjoy those. Although I haven't found a color that I like as much as Brandy. This one has shimmer running through it, which I don't mind at all. And it doesn't feel, I don't really feel like it's gritty on the lips either. But if you don't like sparkle in your lip gloss, that is something to note. They also have those plump shots. That's what they are. The Buxom has some plump shots that also have some of that peppery kind of plumping. This is just an icy feeling, an icy pepperminty menthol feeling, but the plump shots have a little bit of that hot pepper in it, which I don't prefer. I really don't like glosses that have the hot peppery. I don't care for it. I don't care for the sensation. So these are absolutely my favorite. I think this is probably, I don't know, the 5th one of these that I've gone through. I've already purchased a new one and I will never not repurchase. If Buxom ever discontinues this, I'm going to be really upset. On that day. Listen, you guys have to warn me. If you hear anything coming down the grapevine about Buxom discontinuing that or going out of business, you got to let me know so that I can go buy like 100 of them, because I refuse to exist without that lip gloss. Little dramatic, but I really love that lip gloss. Another lip product that I finished was my e.l.f. Ride or Die lip balm. This was rolled into my Throwback 30. I ended up using this on my lips. I used it on my hands during the winter. The skin between my knuckles tends to get really kind of dry and scaly during the winter time, so I would put it on there. It kind of reminded me a lot of Aquaphor with a peachy tint and a peachy fragrance, which was pleasant, but it wasn't life-changing or anything like that. And this packaging, I don't think e.l.f. is making these anymore, and I think the packaging is why, because I had the hardest time getting the product out of it. It was so thick. I would have to stick it in my bra to warm it up in order to get the product to actually decant out of the packaging. But I finally did finish it up, and it is leaving my collection. So pleased with that. That took a long time. I also finished this little deluxe size of the Cover FX gripping primer. I really like the gripping primer. I have gone through a full size of one of these before in the past. Really good primer. I really do think that it helps with the longevity of my makeup. It is not an oil controlling product, so unless I pair it with an oil controlling primer through the center of my face, I will definitely still get a little shiny, but everything will still be on my face. You know what I'm saying? So really good primer. I don't think I will repurchase that one simply because there are so many other good options as far as gripping primers go now than there were when Cover FX first came out with that one. I think they were one of the first ones, them or Milk. I can't remember who did it first, but I think it was Cover FX who did it first before Milk even came out with their product. But now there are so many options and some really, really good ones from the drugstore. I just don't think it's necessary to pay higher end prices for a gripping primer like that one. So if I decide that I want a gripping primer back in my collection, I probably go buy the hard candy one or try out the e.l.f. one, which I have never tried, but I have heard is really nice. Speaking of primers, I also finished my Rimmel Stay Matte Mattifying Primer. This is the primer that I was using after I finished my Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder, which is my favorite mattifying primer of all time. I use the shade Universal underneath, just through the middle of my face. Really, really like that one. Once I finished that one last year, I decided to work on this one, and we finally got it done. This is actually really a very effective primer, a lot less expensive than the Danessa Myricks. I don't think it's as effective as Danessa's Blurring Balm Powder is in controlling the oil for me, but it is still a very nice one. So I am now in need of a mattifying primer. I don't have another one. I have an actual hole in my makeup collection right now, which is actually That is pretty rare for me to have an actual legitimate hole in my makeup collection. So I'm going to have to think about it, what I want to replace this with. If you are balling on a budget though, this is a really, really nice mattifying primer and the price cannot be beat. Here's one that I complained about the entire time I was trying to use it up. This is the Cover FX Custom Enhancer Drops in the shade Rose Gold. It is, oh my gosh, it is an illuminator. It's supposed to be a highlighter. I did use it during the wintertime a couple times on my face when I knew I wasn't going to be in direct sunlight. Because when you are in direct sunlight, you will sparkle like the skin of a killer, Bella, okay? Like... so much glitter, so much glitter. When you, let me see if I can actually swatch it out. When I first swatched this, I thought, oh my gosh, that would make the most amazing body illuminator. Words, Rebecca. Look at that. Do you see that metallic sheen? I swatched it over that swatch of Drop of a Hat, so it's a little pinkier than it normally would be. But do you see that metallic sheen? Oh, that's gorgeous. Imagine that on your legs. Beautiful, right? Well, beautiful until you venture outdoors and then you like have disco ball legs. Ridiculous. Anyway, this was a pain in my butt trying to finish it up. I actually ended up putting it into a body lotion that I would apply before bed. I acknowledge it was a little bit of a cheat. Nobody was seeing me. I was just getting glitter on my sheets, but we got through it. We got through it. Would not repurchase. I have a couple of eyebrow pencils here and a lip liner. This one doesn't have the cap because my son stole it. And actually, I don't think I finished this one. I don't know if this should rightfully be in my empties because I didn't actually finish this one. My son rolled it up and pulled the product out of there. So it's going out of my collection. This is a lip liner from Peri Para in the shade Rosy Nude. Really pretty. Very similar to the Makeup by Mario lip liner in Smoky Pink, if that is a liner that you really like. I also found it pretty comparable to the old NYX lip liner in Mauve. So somewhere between the two of those, a very My Lips But Better type of shade. Really enjoyed it until my son destroyed it. So this is not actually a proper empty. I didn't get to finish it all the way. And I actually probably will repurchase it. I have been tempted to repurchase it, but I have so many lip liners. I went on a little bit of a lip liner binge toward the end of last year, bought a bunch of lip liners, and I need to work through a few of those before I can allow myself to repurchase this one. And then I have two eyebrow pencils in here. One of them is also from Peri Para. This was in the shade Gray. This is one of the softest gray eyebrow pencils. I can't tell you exactly what it was called because all of the text is rubbed off, but the product was here, and then you've got the spoolie on the other end, which is honestly, it's my favorite setup. I wish nobody would ever do it any other way because that's always what I want. I want a spoolie on one end, I want a micro pencil on the other. That's just, I've realized that's the only kind of eyebrow pencil that I'm really into. I don't want any funky combs. I don't want any eyebrow gel on the other side. I just want a spoolie and a little teeny tiny pencil. This was actually a very good one. The thing that was the most remarkable about this pencil was the shade of it. It was a proper gray shade. It was a much softer gray than I usually find in other eyebrow pencils. So I would get a much softer, more natural brow out of this one. I prefer an eyebrow pencil with zero warmth in it. I do not want a dark brown pencil. I do not want an ash brown pencil. I either want a proper black, although proper black can be tricky because you can end up with an extremely bold brow, or something that's kind of a soft gray color. And I actually really enjoyed this. My only problem with this is I went through it super fast. Because it is such a light color, I think I ended up using more product in my brows than I normally would. If I'm using a black pencil or a dark gray pencil, I try to be very light-handed with that, obviously, because I don't want to end up with Sharpie brows. This one I was able to just go in a little bit more without ending up with too much brow, so I ended up going through this quite quickly. However, the price was really good. I can't remember where I purchased it. I think it was off Stylevana. And I think I got it for a little over $4, which is such a good deal for an eyebrow pencil. Honestly, the next time I do make an order from Stylevana, I probably will pick up another one of these. Despite the fact that it went so quickly, the price makes that doable. You know what I'm saying? Right now, though, I kind of have gone on a little bit of an eyebrow pencil hunt over the last few months. I'm going to be doing another video soon here where I show you all of the products that came into my collection since April. And you will see a lot of eyebrow pencils in there because I just kind of went on a hunt trying to find a really good one without spending an arm and a leg. So I have been experimenting with quite a number of different eyebrow pencils. That's not really a problem. Eyebrow pencils are one of those things that I go through pretty regularly, but it'll be a little bit of time before I repurchase this one. Last product in here is also not a proper empty. I mean, it is empty, but I didn't empty it. So this is the Mo Beauty Divinely Defined Precision Brow Pencil, which I got this. I don't think it was in an Ipsy bag. I think I got it off of the Ipsy shop for like $2 or $3. And it was just a component. There's zero product in here. There is no product in this pencil, which was a little bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. You kind of are rolling the dice a little bit when you buy anything off of Ipsy shop. A lot of that is old dead stock, so it would have been nice to try this one out, but I did not get the chance. And those are my empties. I think I showed you everything. If I have missed anything, I will put that in the basket and share it with you next month. Thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.